If you follow Equinox TV yesterday, you discover that they talk about somebody, I've forgotten the name, who came up talking about President Paul Biya. That an article appeared somewhere that showed that President Paul Biya does not supposed to run for the upcoming presidential election. He has failed in everything, all that, all that, all that. This is something TFA Talking Point have been explaining. On Equinox TV, I mentioned this particular issue there, that a President Paul Biya for 42 years in power has not accomplished anything. And I explained detailedly in that when I talk about accomplishment, I'm talking about starting something and ending it. If you look in Cameroon for 42 years, President Paul Biya is having at least 1 billion on complete project all over Cameroon. He will start and go 10%, 5%, and stop. You look through Cameroon, you go to all villages, you will discover that nearly all villages are having one abandoned tractor that came for road construction. They just came, drop it, and disappear. And that was written and signed that the road was constructed in this place. You go to some places, there is no electricity, but you see electric poles parked somewhere. That was a project that was signed. And then it has been signed that President Paul Biya extended electricity to this place, but they have never seen it. They just saw the pole and they celebrated and welcome and vote for President Paul Biya for that particular year. When I talk about accomplishment, I'm talking about starting something and finishing. I could have been in support of President Paul Biya if maybe looking through Cameroon, I discovered that he for 42 years extended electricity to all Cameroonians. That is the only project that maybe he did or he has done for the people of Cameroon. I could have been in support of President Paul Biya. But for 42 years in power, many Cameroonians are still living in darkness. They have never seen electricity with their naked eyes. When we talk about accomplishing something, I explained that for 42 years, President Paul Biya could have said that, okay, I spent everything to make sure that all Cameroonians have potable drinking water. He has not done that. Even in big city like Yaoundé, Douala, Buea, Bamenda, Maroua, Ngando, all this big city, they do not even have drinking water. Not to talk of villages. That is failure. When I talk about accomplishing something, President Paul Biya could have said, I spent my 42 years in power just to make sure that Cameroon is well connected with road network. But President Paul Biya failed. You look at the route linking the two biggest cities in Cameroon, Douala and Yaoundé, with more than 10 million people in these two cities. Then President Paul Biya failed. And the two cities that are being linked with a route that is like farm to market route here in Cyprus. And when you say President Paul Biya has failed, a wicked elite, a wicked traditional rulers, a wicked politician, and a wicked top government officials will look at you and say you are playing with your life. You will be arrested. This is the Cameroon we are talking about. This is the Cameroon I keep on criticizing. I keep on condemning the present government. They have failed. And the only thing you can characterize or you can say about them is that they are a failure. President Paul Biya is a failure and remained a failure. In one of my videos, somebody dropped a comment and said he is an elderly person. You do not have to be insulting him. I am not insulting President Paul Biya. You need to understand what an insult is. An insult is something that you say about somebody that is a lie. But if you are telling the truth, that is not an insult. It is a correction. It is the character of that person. If somebody is a thief and you tell the person that you are a thief, is that an insult? It is not an insult. President Paul Biya is a dictator. President Paul Biya is an embezzler. He is all what you can think of. A wicked person. Because if you remain in power at the detriment of the people, you are a wicked person. If President Paul Biya could have respected himself, and in 1992, when John Frundi defeated him and he surrendered and just go home, I could have been where? I wouldn't have that time or even think of that President Paul of insulting or saying things concerning President Paul Biya. He brought whatsoever he is having upon himself. He has not accomplished anything. And it is not a news. It is not something that if somebody come up and say President Paul Biya has not accomplished anything, we should be putting it on news, or we should be pointing at the person as he is a hero. Even a one-day-old child in Cameroon knows that President Paul Biya has not accomplished anything, because the hospital he is being put to birth there, he came out and already saw terrible things. No nurse, no doctor. The parents are crying. Not even celebrating because of the bill. They don't do this. They don't. What are you talking about, Cameroon? There is nobody in Cameroon that can stand up and say President Paul Biya has. Even you ask the supporter, what has President Paul Biya done? They will take at least 1 minute before they will start naming something. And if they want to start, they will start with the Amadou Ahidjo the presidential stadium, football stadium, Japuma. Is that what Cameroonians are looking for? That thing that is standing in Japuma, how is that helping Cameroonians to travel from one place to another? How is that stadium helping Cameroonians to have drinkable water? How is that stadium helping Cameroonians to have electricity? I told you, I presented a video recently, and I told you people that anybody wearing the CPT and attire or supporting President Paul Biya is the enemy that we have to face. They are the evil people. And some of them, majority of them, are just these people where we call in Cameroon Langa Truth. Majority of them, they are just there for 500 francs, 2,000 francs after gathering a tin of sardine, a loaf of bread, and one beer, and that is all. They are selling their whole future and the future of their children because of these things. President Paul Biya, anywhere, even before him, I will tell him that you have failed. You have not achieved anything. For 42 years in power, you cannot proudly go to the hospital in your own country. You are afraid of the doctor because you know that you will never train anyone. You are afraid to send your children to schools in Cameroon because you know that you have not created any school. You are afraid to travel from one place to another on a vehicle because you know that you have not constructed any road. You are afraid to drink water from your own country that you have been president for 42 years. And when you say it, they will say, no, this is hate speech. If you go on Google or you open your dictionary to read the meaning of hate speech, you know that the government of President Paul Biya have been manipulating us for all this year, silencing us. Corruption is everywhere. And then we will stand up and say we are supporting President Paul Biya because he achieved something. He has not accomplished anything. And anybody coming up to say President Paul Biya, what we have to be fighting for at this point is not naming us, saying that President Paul Biya has not achieved anything. It's telling President Paul Biya to go home and rest.